Hi, welcome to the first episode of Spacey, a monthly program that dives into how we can practically apply spirituality to our everyday lives. Today, we're going to talk about something that I know you've wondered about before on those days when you're lighting a joint, sipping on your tea, or ignoring your friend talking about the same person for the thousandth time. What is the difference between your intuition and your fear? How do you know if you're following your instincts or going down a rabbit hole of thoughts that's leading you nowhere? Well, after some thought and testing my theories, I came to this realization that the distinction is very simple. Your intuition is the feeling that tells you just say it, just do it. Just gather more information, or simply wait. There's no doubt in your body about what needs or does not need to be done. It just is. There's a simple assuredness. There's assurance that what you are following through on makes sense. It feels comfortable, like something you're completely okay with. It feels like this is exactly how it should be. Now, how do you know when you're not following your intuition or if you're going against your instincts? I believe it's this aggy feeling that seems normal or everyone around me does this or that. So that's what I'll do or how I'll think. I see Sexy Red out here living her best life, and Sis is winning. I want to live my best life too, so let me act like she does. And substitute her for anyone that's hot at the moment. Because it could even be my family taught me to act like this and think like that. So it should be no question that this is what I need to do. But there's always something on the other side of that thinking pattern that lets you know something doesn't sit right with me. I feel like there's pieces of the puzzle missing. Almost how I would imagine it feels listening to Ashley Darby of Real Housewife of Potomac tell you the latest tea. You just feel like, baby, I need to spit this out. There is mold on these tea leaves. Something is off. Now, these are my own theories and opinions about deciphering between intuition and fear. So the question circles back to how can you figure out whether or not this resonates for you? Because I don't know your life. That's just between you and the creator. I just share tidbits of my thought process and understanding so you can get an insight into your own understanding. Because we all need to be clear about why we make certain choices. Because nobody wants to be that person who is out here living in a reality that we can't quite comprehend. Somebody, please cue spaceships on Bankhead. So I discovered the easiest way to figure out whether or not you understand the difference between your intuition or fear, or any spiritual concept for that matter, is to apply the scientific method. Okay, stay with me. Because we're taking it back to seventh grade science and revamping it for the adults. There are 6 steps of the scientific method. First step is to ask a question. The second step is to conduct background research. The third step is to form a hypothesis. The fourth, conduct an experiment. The fifth, analyze your data and make conclusions. And sixth, communicate your results. Now, let's break it down and run through it based on a spiritual concept that will be easier to observe the results. For instance, the law of attraction. First off, we're going to ask ourselves, does it work? That's our question. Second step is to get a little research on it. So, the law of attraction is one of the 12 universal laws of Hermetic philosophy and highly publicized by the book The Secret. An oversimplification of this philosophy is what you think about and contribute to the world is what you get back. Research shows that a positive mindset leads to greater productivity, increased creativity, and problem solving abilities. Not only that, it attracts more people. Hello, who told these witches that the way to winning in life is being a Debbie Downer? The lie detector test determined that was a lie. All we need to do is look at another episode of Basketball Wives, where these women are going into another decade complaining about failed relationships. Now, let's make this clear. Energy does not lie. You can be out here taking a page from Jane St. Patrick, aka Ghost Book, and pretend to be a loving family man that's here for the community, but it's not going to work. Because meanwhile, your main concern is fulfilling your needs and desires by any means necessary, even if that means betraying everyone close to you while poisoning your community. No, no, no. That is flawed. Then you will appear flawed, and eventually reality will expose you as such. So it's about really being clear about the energy that you are truly putting out there. And so we tap into the third step, which allows us to become clear about what we need to understand to apply the law of attraction. So, for the sake of our experiment, let's apply the law of attraction to manifesting more love in our life. For example, from my perspective, I may evaluate the music that I grew up listening to and the songs that I listen to today. Okay, I grew up on 2000s R&B. So, by the time I was roughly about 9 years old, and really aware of the lyrics and the songs that I was listening to, the top songs on the Billboard R&B chart were Always on Time by Ja Rule featuring Ashanti and Dilemma by Nelly and Kelly Rowland. The latter speaks about a woman who is magnetically drawn to a man who is not her partner. Kelly sings about how much she loves and needs this person, aka Nelly, the object of her affection, while Nelly talks about how he wouldn't fight for her, but he'd bag her. One can make the observation from the song's lyrics that women are worthy of being seen as attractive for bragging rights, but not inherently valuable enough to make the sacrifices necessary to commit to them. And when we evaluate the former Always on Time lyrics, it portrays the same sentiment. Ja Rule explicitly says, "Come on and get a piece of this late night lover. You know, the one that swings D like no other. I know I got a lot of things I need to explain, but baby, you know the name and love is about pain. So stop the complaints and drop the order restraints. Our sex life's a game, so back me down in the paint." And in 2023, one of the top songs on the R&B charts is SZA's Kill Bill, where she sings, "I'm still a fan even though I was salty. Hate to see you with some other broad. Know you happy. Hate to see you happy if I'm not the one driving. I'm so mature, I'm so mature, I'm so mature. I got me a therapist to tell me there's other men. I don't want none, I just want you. If I can't have you, no one should." So, observation number one. For the past 20 years, the majority of the songs push towards my ethnic group has been music revolving around third parties, situationships, and the lack of inherent value of women beyond their physical appearance. So now I'm thinking about what other media have I consumed that involves the participation in or representation of my ethnic group? Ah, movies. So I go and I evaluate all of the top movies of 2023, and I realize that none of the top movies in the past year have anything to do with a woman from my ethnic group engaged in a deep romance. So, observation number two, I have not seen proper representation of healthy love in the media that is meant to represent my ethnic group. So now we get to the point where I'm wondering, where else can I look for this imagery? Naturally, it seems the easiest thing to do is to look towards my peers and their relationships, right? But after some time, I'm slowly starting to feel like a cast member in They Killed Tyrone. A majority seems to be engaging in the relationships similar to what I've heard about and seen in the media that I just discussed. So, observation number three, it seems that, as Oscar Wilde wrote in his essay, The Decade of Lying in 1889, life imitates art far more than art imitates life. And so, after evaluating all of these observations, a possible explanation of the major blockage in my love life could be summarized by studies that have shown that media contributes to social unity and group movement. So, is it too far fetched to think that the media I consume contributes to the actions I take in my daily life because of the impression it has on my ethnic group? I just feel like, wow, that's a powerful revelation. And now we're getting somewhere with this concept. And so I can use these evaluations to form a hypothesis around the law of attraction, which is, if I decide to think about harmonious romantic relationships that are depicted to me through art forms outside of what is mainstream in my ethnic group, I will attract love faster. Now it's time to experiment. Let's put this hypothesis to action. So, the first step is to completely set boundaries with any and all individuals that mimic what I have identified as a reflection of the relationships depicted in the media discussed above. Relationships that involve betrayal, unclear communication, and lack of consent from all parties involved, and just any devaluation of who I am as a person. The second step is to intentionally read books, listen to music, and watch films of romantic relationships that are healthy, even if that requires getting over the initial hump of identifying it as corny or not for people from my ethnic group. The third step is surrounding myself with people who love real love, people who actively participate in healthy relationships of all kinds. And the fourth step is allowing myself to use all of the previous steps as a springboard to imagine what a healthy, loving connection would look like for me. Then get creative by seeing it in my mind's eye, journaling about it, making a song about it, or just allowing my imagination to run wild. And if I had the time and tools, maybe even make a short film about it. So, once I finish conducting this experiment for a set amount of time, I will sit back and evaluate how it's worked for me. What have I discovered about the new suitors that I've attracted since the beginning of the experiment? Who are the type of people that I am now attracted to as opposed to previously? And what new opportunities or situations am I finding myself in? For example, recognizing that there are now people who approach me with the interest of being in a committed relationship, and that I'm no longer even drawn to people who see healthy love as strange, difficult, or a burdensome task. And finally, it's about sharing the results. So, I've decided to communicate about my experimentation on this premiere episode of Spacey, but I would love to know the results of your experiments as well. So reach out in an email and tell me about how you applied the law of attraction to any sector of your life. It could be financially, it could be health wise, just anything you'd like to focus on. And drop a comment and let me know how it's all worked out for you. And so, with that, I am going to leave you there. I thank you for stopping by and tuning in. And until the next time, have a great one. Goodbye.